Hey, so today's tutorial, will be following up from what we did with the Raspberry Pi Zero connecting to the PC. This one will really be focusing on what we did before, but the new way of doing it, which is a lot simpler and actually way easier, to the point of where you don't have to do any file editing or anything. So it's just a quick, simple tip, and here it is. Okay, so we have our SD card. This is what we really need to start this off. The same way we did before by putting it into the Raspberry Pi Zero. But before we do that, we want to do the first key thing, and that is installing the operating system on the SD card. So let's go to that. Put it into your SD card reader. It may come up with format the disk or something like that. So if you just want to format the disk beforehand, I'm not going to do, there's no point. So once you put it in, what you need to do is, if you go to your Raspberry Pi imager that we downloaded last time, so choose the operating system. Out of this, we're just going to pick what I usually pick, the Raspberry 2 OS light version, easier. Choose the storage that we had before, but then you'll see this little settings icon. This is really important because this is going to save us so much time and hassle. So if we click on the settings icon, we see this image customization. You can set it for this session only, or you can set it to always use these settings. I'm just going to have it for this session because sometimes there's ways of using this. Then you want to click on Enable SSH, and you can either enable password authentication or use a public key, up to you, as well as set the username and password of your root access. This is so helpful if you didn't know your password or you wanted to change it before doing it inside of the actual operating system on Linux. So I just changed it to Pi, change it to what I want, or root, save it, enable SSH, save it. And then you can write to that. There you go. It will write now for you. So it's installed. Once it's installed, we'll need to take it out. So continue. Here we go. So we've got the SD card. We want to put it into our Raspberry Pi like we did before. Just slot it in, whatever you have with your settings. Our USB, our micro USB to Ethernet. So we'll put that into the second one because the first one is for power. USB is the second one. Plug in our Ethernet cable. Then we want to plug in our power cable. So here we go. That's going to be plugged in now. That should power up. So let's say we open our SSH software down here. I'm going to use Putty. What we'll know is when it's loaded, we'll be able to get directly into it because you won't have to do any of the fiddling around that we did before. Mine's probably going to be 192 because I know the IP, so it's going to be my web server. So that'll be 192.168.1, whatever your one is. And then you want to log in. There we go. Log in. Pi. There we go, and typed it in, and there we are. It's literally working. There's no fiddling around, you're on. So much simpler. Thank you, Raspberry Pi, for releasing that. Hope you liked it, and yeah, I'll be uploading more in the future.